This is CW again, back again with another video, and today is basically going to be my prediction of the next episode of Death Battle. Perfect Cell versus Metal Sonic. Not gonna lie, this was shocking to see after Ichigo versus Yusuke, and I gotta admit, this, even though there has been some somewhat backlash with the Ichigo, but then again, it's kind of makes sense. This one is definitely going to be much more, as this one is like between the perfect beings of like when it came to clones and all the faker, these two are like perfections of like the clones behind the main character and all when they think of like done right. And out of these two, this one was actually, even though I got spoiled on it, this was, especially with Del Artemis confirming this is his last project with Moro and David Huen helping him. This is definitely a banger to do to end his career and all. So let's just get into it. Gonna try to do this in a go. Do this fast as possible, probably 15 to 20 minutes as possible. So let's cut down the categories. And as probably stated, this is going to mainly be focused on ideally video games, so no Archie Comics version, as well as for Cell, the manga, so no Xenoverse. But there is a exception with like some of the games as supporting material, especially with and Super, since that is canon and all, and Fighter C as well being canon since Android 21 it says. But out of the categories was kind of tough, but I decided to focus on 5: strength, speed, Abridged, of course, stealing moves, equipment, and evolution. Evolution will probably be the big deciding factor. So let's get down as strength and speed. It was kind of obvious. So let's just get it out of the way that ideally Cell at his best near the end has confirmed that he basically can blow up the entire solar system, which is impressive as he at his full power near the climax of Cell vs Gohan can be supported by other versions of the games, such as this one, which sees Cell successfully using the Kamehameha and destroying the solar system. So let me just take a minute. But basically, as you can see, as I'll show, but apparently there is supporting evidence of this, especially it could ideally be much bigger, especially when you consider how big the Dragon Ball universe is. But, oh man, there we go. Just added a double tap. But basically, come down to it, like, when, this is, I believe, from the DS version. I don't know if it's the sparkling versions of the game, but basically it shows Gohan failing. You basically can't find the channel, but basically I'll just unpause this. That's a fault on my end, but you can, let's see if I can do. I want to at least show the video because I at least put a thing into it, but once again, YouTube acting up. But basically, with the Dragon Ball cosmology, it's actually somewhere between ideally, probably people say 5D because of like the especially when you review Goku and all. The lore of it is like much bigger. So as you can see here, it says that the from Akira Toriyama that the higher dimensions like heaven and all are from other worlds. As you can see here, how each one is like, this is like the whole universe from right here and all. This version of hell and heaven and all are like as separate planes and all. So how does Metal Sonic do? Well, just by raw strength alone, it's ideally easy that Cell should win. But even though that he rivals Sonic can do, as stated by Sega since Sonic CD, from Sonic Central that was originally made by Sega and all before they get continued, that he was modified to match and to match and rival Sonic at his best, and has proven since in the IDW comics that he can rival Sonic, even especially after the chance of forces and all. But even though Sonic's best feat probably came from the intro of Sonic Unleashed, where he basically, after he got the Chaos Emeralds taken from him as Super Sonic, he basically survived taking the tanking the destruction of planet Earth being shattered into pieces and all. That's still pretty impressive, but nothing compared to Cell. Even though that Cell is obviously stronger and all, even without Super and all, with the solar system, the planetary and all, he's proven that he's much stronger. But with speed, ideally, it's definitely without a doubt Sonic, because even without the Chaos Emerald, both Sonic Generation has proven that even with his speed alone, and with Classic Sonic even, their speed can repair time and space that was eaten by the Time Meter. So, whilst category-wise, whilst Cell would obviously rival in strength, without Super Scaling Sonic, Metal Sonic can rival Sonic Steel's speed, even if Super was given. But let's start off to the main obvious when it came to stealing moves. This one's interesting, but I think it's ideally a tie, because even though that when Cell has taken all the bio cells and moleculars of like Piccolo and Goku with the Saiyan blood and like gets a power boost from death and all, as well as gaining telekinesis, a superior healing factor that he can heal from the microscopic level, stealing moves like Solar Flare, the Kamehameha, as you saw with the Solar System, and Goku's instant transmission that he just looked at after sacrificing himself. Metal Sonic also has the same thing. Sorry about the pop-out, but basically this is him copying of Shadow and in Sonic Heroes, basically copied all the other heroes, which is supported in Sonic Rivals, where he also copies Silver's. He can copy other characters' ultimates or power-ups, such as Knuckles' Fire Gloves, Rouge's Bombs, Sonic's Speed, of course, Shadow's Chaos Control, and Silver's Psychokinesis. So at the end of the day, he could both of them, and once again, both of them are geniuses when it comes to fighting. Cell is a genius when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, that even Goku admitted that he couldn't beat him, as well as having genius IQ, manipulating everyone in order to get, especially Vegeta, in order to become perfect Cell, as well as Metal Sonic having copied the IQ in the IDW comics of his intelligence. So at the end of the day, both of them are ideally tied when it comes to stealing move, because at the end of the day, no matter if it's shields, energies, electricity, and all, both of them are can copy each other to perfection. But when it comes to Metal Sonic and the Chaos Emeralds by itself, it becomes a major game changer, as the Chaos Emeralds right here in Japanese terms, similar to Archie comic, is that, as explained in Taki's Sonic Adventure 1, that Chaos Emeralds are basically willpower from emotions to the point they can make dreams into reality. This is also proven minus the Phantom Ruby, which has changed reality and all, as well as taking Sonic and the player avatar from the game into Snow's place, where basically it's a dimension of nothingness. And yes, the Chaos Emerald, I know, Sonic 06 is bad, but it does show that it can also heal and resurrect people from the dead, such as Sonic coming back to life after 06. And here's the proof of Taki's quote, because at the end of the day, even if it is possible that Cell does have infinite energy, could use the Chaos Emeralds, but as raw emotions, as you can see here, and before the Chaos Emeralds were drained from Chaos, and Sonic used his willpower. This has been proven numerous times, whether Shadow the Hedgehog as his hero and dark shadow forms, amplified by his emotions, as well in the end of Sonic Rush, which, oh man, you cannot see, but basically in Sonic Rush, near the end of the game, Eggman Nega and Dr. Eggman teamed up and drained all the powers of the Soul Emeralds. And because the Soul Emeralds were similar to the Chaos Emeralds, they fused their, brought them back in full health and all. But at the end of the day, like, equipment-wise, even without the Dark Rings, the ring items, the item boxes, and excluding, like, the gears from Sonic Riders and the racing items from Crossworlds and the other Sonic games, at the end of the day, Metal Sonic has, even with if the Chaos Emeralds were excluded, Metal Sonic has many items and equipment that can counter Cell and has many ways to kill Cell, whether it's turning him into rings, becoming invincible, using a shield, increasing his speed and all, getting extra life. Like, there have been many counters that Metal Sonic has to kill. But the main factor at the end of the day, even though that Metal Sonic none of it would matter if it comes to evolution, how they progress, as Metal Sonic alone can turn into Metal Sonic. Darkwing, he has his Giga form, his Phantom Ruby form, and of course his super forms, which is Super Neo Metal Sonic that introduced IDW, and Metal Overload, which Cell, of course, doesn't need, thanks to its Saiyan DNA and all stolen. But at the end of the day, especially with the using the Master Emerald, like, the super forms abilities and hacks, it's just too much. I can see Cell, I could have some advantages, but it's just even though that he can absorb people and all, that's not going to work against Metal Sonic, since again he's metal and all, and proven with the Androids 16 and all, that doesn't work. Has matched Goku, and even Goku forfeited because he knew they was gonna lose. He could ideally copy Metal Sonic's electricity energy thing, his overdrive, and his shields. Even if he has the power of the Chaos Emerald on his side that Cell can use or destroy, Metal Sonic has major counters to winning in the end. As, oh man, it's not shown. As, like, as explained here, that at the end of the day, that, sorry, this is supposed to be showing Shadow Generations, but basically it's showing that in the panels that Shadow was basically, when Shadow fought Metal Overload, he had it throughout that boss fight. Metal Overload basically can count to almost anything of Shadow's chaos powers, especially whether it was chaos control or healing. And Omega even confirmed in Shadow Generations that the Chaos Emeralds would be unwise to fight him and go all-out attack with his Doom forms, as, again, he copied his Bio DNA to the point that he has resisted certain abilities. And this is proven when Metal Overlord basically fights Shadow in the boss fight, and basically uses Chaos Control, which Metal Sonic mocks Shadow, and him basically telling he's counter. But let's just get to the point. At the end of the day, like, as much I do respect Cell, and I do see him winning, especially if he gets super scaling with getting probably same power as well as probably stronger power and tighter speed. But at the end of the day, even if he does, Metal Sonic alone has the counters he needs to win overall, and him being faster than So even without any amplification, his weaponry of equipment has many ways to end and kill Cell, whether sending him to the node space with the Phantom Ruby, turning him into rings, using the whips, or just using the power of the Chaos Emeralds to control time and space, as Cell doesn't have no counters to the super forms. And while Metal Sonic does, and even if Cell does get the Chaos Emeralds, has counters and can limit what Cell do. And and even though Metal Sonic is weaker and lacks hand-to-hand combat, and could be a disadvantage with the Chaos Emeralds, at the end of the day, like, this, when you look down with all the arsenal and all, the outcome does become clear. But I could be wrong. It could be depends on like how they measure their. It really depends how they handle their cosmology and all. But considering how the reboot of Goku vs Superman and Battles for Eggman shown, like showing them taking their full power of the cosmology and all, and how the world building is, it does pair. And I do enjoy both characters, like Super Mario Bros. C, the internet show that got me into YouTube and all was one of the first video I seen, as well as like Dragon Ball Z Abridged was definitely without Piccolo and all. There's still a lot of factors to put in, and as much as Metal Sonic has lost to Batman, added to the losing streak, even though that's not canon yet with DC Comics crossover, as well as Perfect Cell not officially coming back yet. Like, even with the super scaling and all, like, the outcome when it comes to, like, Metal Sonic's raw power and speed, his equipment, and Hax's with the super forms, like, it's still too much to has more ways to win than Cell. But either way, this is going to end it here. Thank you so much. I hope, like I said, I did get criticism from last time, and I made sure to put up this time with this. Even though there's some flaws with the videos not working and all, I'll make sure definitely next time when I record to make sure those are up and running first. That's on me. But thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoy, and comment, subscribe, and hope you enjoy. Stay awesome, and would like some feedback for the future to improve.